Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa Karasek, and I am the community manager for Brave Healer Productions, and this is Brave Story Time. Today, I'm here with author Stacy Belinsky. How are you, Stacy?
Hello, Lisa. Hello, everyone.
Stacy's going to be reading her chapter today from 100 Poems and Possibilities for Healing. Her chapter is Being Overwhelmed and Doing It Anyway. Stacy, I am so excited to hear your chapter and your poems. Do you want to tell us how you came to be in this book?
Well, I'm excited too. I came to be in this book because I had already been in another one, and I would always listen to what the topics were. And I don't regularly write poetry, but when it came up to write or to be a part of a book that was all about poems, I knew I wanted to because I had one that just kind of like it just flowed, like it just came out, and I'm like, I have to do it at least for that. And you could do just one. We ended up being gifted a second one, so I have two. But yeah, I wanted that one published.
I forgot I put myself on mute. I know, I'm excited too. And yes, I agree that one definitely deserves being published. I know which one. So why did you answered the question to the one, and I am in this book with you. I submitted my poems in this book as well. So I know my answers, but when we do these collaborations, and part of this is including some of your story and then your poems. So you can either speak to the story or the poems, but why did you want to contribute the specific ones that you did, or the specific story that you did, the specific poems that you did?
Well, I guess I sort of answered the one, but it just, yeah, the one poem, it just kind of flowed. But my story relates to even how I started my business. So I think that's where a lot of that comes from, and being and wanting to support women and wanting to support makers and entrepreneurs. So it relates to that. But yeah, I don't write a lot of poetry. I just uh, or I haven't. I wouldn't say I wouldn't want to, but I haven't. But these just kind of they were the ones that had to be.
You are a very good poet. I'm glad
Thank
that
you.
you're in this book. Um, So then how did it feel? Like you said, you're for women and you're for makers. I know I'm familiar with your business. You're in the, so crafts basically is makers. So how did it feel bringing all of this to the public, knowing that other people were going to read all about you and your story and your business? And like you said, you haven't written many poems and now you're publishing poems. So how does all of that feel for you, Stacy?
It's exciting. It's exciting to get it out there, and surprisingly, it's like I keep repeating the same story because I keep getting asked or being a part of presentations where I'm in that, and then it gives me more opportunities to even support, more women or makers, and yeah, I like that, and I think just a different take on it's different types of audiences because I'm in different communities when I've been presenting, and even when the book gets read, I don't know who's reading it. So because sometimes it's even sold from a local bookstore, so I don't have, yeah, I don't know who the person is, but I think it's fun.
It is fun. And as I mentioned, I'm in this particular book as well, so I know this piece. But at the end, we were, all of us poets and authors, we contributed at the end of our chapters a prompt for the audience. So I invite you now to go and grab a piece of paper or your journal, your favorite pen maybe. And after you listen to Stacy read her story and her poems, she's going to give you a prompt. We're going to probably step away at that point, but I want you, the listener, the audience, I want you to go ahead and sit with it for a moment and go ahead and do your best in writing for Stacy's prompt. So that's the cool, fun component of this book, being in this book. Everyone got to share a prompt for the reader. So that's at the end. Stacy, how are you feeling? Are you ready to read your story to us? Are you ready to share your poems with us?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Take it away.
So the book is 100 Poems of Possibilities for Healing. And my chapter is number 10, and it's called Being Overwhelmed and Doing It Anyway. One morning, I woke up from a dream, not remembering anything except the idea to empower women. As vague as it was, I brought up my idea during a local startup meeting and was encouraged to participate in another event, Pitch Zoo, as one of the pitchers or presenters. The idea of speaking in front of a group made me feel nervous. A way that helps me get through that is by including friends, and at the time, I asked everyone who I could think of to be there. We had around 30 people filling up the room. Following the pitch, the audience could offer suggestions or ask questions. A woman in the audience mentioned Mothership Hacker Moms, a creative space for moms, loosely defined, and their families. This turned out to hit the general point of my pitch and also pulled me into the maker world while I explored creating a community called Hacker Gals. The original version was in my local area, and from connecting to a makerspace about 60 miles north, I created a second version through that group too. Everyone involved had a talent or a passion to share. My job then was to coordinate and not always be the lead for presenting. The workshops were as fun as learning to line dance and as uplifting as Gals Picture Day for professional photos. Today, I continue to be a part of the local makerspace and startup creative community. Although Hacker Gals doesn't officially exist anymore, it's important to me to empower and support women. In my experience, makerspaces tend to be male-dominated, with many women joining because their husbands did. The women may be as or more creative, yet don't tend to be regular participants. One of the newer members at my local makerspace is an exception to this. She joined on her own and has many projects with deadlines that bring her in every open day. Recently, I stayed longer to hang out with her, even after my tasks were completed. We were the only ones in the building for most of the evening. Having you here really helped me today, she said. The conversation really helped me, I replied. A few other members were willing to work at helping to resolve one of her project challenges before they left. I refer to this as the Serendipity Spot. It's more than paying dues. It's the willingness to participate by asking for or assisting others when asked and caring about the person even when your interest may not match. Whether or not I created the event, I love watching the magic unfold. Even though the basic physiological needs, such as food and shelter, were covered while growing up, I didn't feel supported to follow my interests. Sometimes it was still allowed and left open-ended, such as being on the musical theater crew and having to find a ride when the group utilized a different high school during my freshman year. I feel like I don't know what I don't know until it comes up in a conversation, such as with maker friends. That knowledge and support won't expand without my willingness to engage as a member of the community. If I can help to relieve anyone else's stress to experience it less than I have, I want to do that when there is mutual support. Turn the page for the poems. So I have two. The first one is called The Life We Mask. Wearing a mask has such a shame. Are you sick? Do you always follow what's proclaimed? No, I say. I feel more protected and safe. You have to start somewhere. I understand people want to follow their own rules. Does that mean laws don't exist? That we display to discourage the fools? Do you mean what you say? Your actions show what's true. You seem to want one thing, and yet don't follow your own rule. Take off the mask, the ones that are not physical. Take off the mask if it means seeing you. Take off the mask that hides your fear. Take off the mask that shows how you sneer. Take off the mask that has kept you disconnected. Take off the mask. Let me see you fully unprotected. It's more than the physical mask on your face. You're hiding years of unworthiness, depression, anxiety, and shame. You've buried yourself so far and deep that you've forgotten yourself. There's not even a little peek. You've mastered being a chameleon and getting through life so far. Where is the true person? Why is the mask so hard? Following others' examples got you through. Following others' examples made you seem cool. What the mask is hiding is the person who you want to be. I know you're there. I know you want to be free. What will you risk? What will you do? I'll be here, waiting to see you. And the second one is called The Black Hole. I always want to express more than you are willing to hear. So notifications are cleared as soon as they appear. What if I did it as a conversation with myself and stopped chasing behind those who want to stay on the shelf? Would it be as satisfactory? Would I find a way to find my tribe? Because this is nonsense, and I do it to myself. All I really want to do is thrive. What does that mean about who I am? How do I define the goals and the plan? I'm good at standing in my own way, even when I know better. The energy and momentum carries me until I'm way off center. So as I write this at the breakfast table, I'm grateful for those who have been stable. I want to expand. I want to grow, not die from a lost focus that longs to show. Clear the notifications if you must. Our relationship must have had to bust. There'll be others who will inspire, and maybe, just maybe, I won't have to be as tired. It makes me sad because it's still a loss. A what if dream that's not as bad, a lesson that has to be flossed. Thank you for the time that was so dear, before the extra stress and before you had to hit clear. I'm moving on, although I don't know where. See you around, and we'll fist bump you there. And hey, I'm writing poetry, something to cheer. And last part, dear reader or listener, now it's your turn to write. Don't censor yourself. My question is, how have you found community helpful? Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Beautiful. Very empowering indeed. How did it feel reading them to an audience on camera?
I hope people comment, or at least like once it's on YouTube, at least like note that that they listened, with a thumbs up or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Is there anything that you want to say about the poems in particular? Is there anything that you want to say about like any background or anything like that? Or do we want to leave art up to the, you know, their interpretation?
Could be mostly the interpretation. I think The Life We Mask, I think a lot of it came out because it was written during the heart of the pandemic. So, seeing people wearing a mask physically, but then, you know, there's like all this masking that I kept seeing, and
Hmm.
so it just kind of flowed from there. But yeah, I mean, maybe it was obvious that it was written during the pandemic. I don't know.
It wasn't to me, no.
No,
Well, okay, awesome.
that's what I would see.
Alrighty. About publishing poetry or writing in general, is there anything that you want to share? Maybe it's about your business or about makerspace. Is there anything that you're offering, anything that you're doing, anything that you have coming up?
For people that are local, doing coloring parties for stress relief, there you have to be physically there. But
You are where?
what's that?
And you are where?
Oh, I'm in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So if you have the hand of Michigan, west side of the state.
Awesome. Yeah, because Stacy does a whole lot. Okay, any last words about poetry or being an author or anything for Brave Storytime listeners?
Uh, I don't think I have anything else. No.
Okay, and that's okay. All righty. Thank you so much for tuning in today and listening to Stacy's poems and her all about her story. Thank you, Stacy, for wanting to read to us and doing Brave Storytime. We'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone.
Mm.